growing, the animals that, oh, okay, thank you very much. Got it, I forgot about the recording. Okay, so again, this week's Torah portion, which is about, again, I'm looking at everybody, at Hillel, and at Valerio, at Sylvia, Lisetta, Sergio, Aris, Daniel Fliegel, Lauren, Levy, I'm sorry to do this, Dara, Ellie, Dr. Herman, okay, and myself. Each of us is on a mission, and that is discussed in this week's Torah portion, how Yaakov went from his homeland, his place, the place of his parents, and he went to a faraway place where he had struggles and he had to face Lavan Ha'arami. Okay, that is what each of us does. And just like Yaakov starts us with the Torah tells us, he even elevated the inanimate things. The inanimate, the rocks, he took the rocks of the place and he put them around his head. Okay, the simple Chassidic explanation, right, is he's elevating even the inanimate. Each of us has that ability. Every single one of us has the ability, right, to when we walk on the ground in a purposeful way to go to fulfill our mission, we're elevating every grain of earth that we're walking over. Okay, the food that we eat that gives us the energy. Okay, the animals, I don't know, animals. Not everybody deals directly with animals like our forefathers were shepherds, but sometimes there are people maybe that are more like animals, okay? And then the people themselves, okay, when we deal with the difficulty of this world, we're elevating all the four levels, okay? That's in general, Now let's look at the text. And first of all, if whoever's something, I don't know, maybe now we can, we can see the text. Is there some way to see the text? Let me just see. I tell you, teaching when I'm traveling has its challenges also. Just let me just see if we can find a way to just 1 second. Hello. She's not answering. I don't know what to do. I think we should just move ahead. I don't know. I feel bad. Let me just feel bad, but I don't know.
If you know the text, then maybe Valerio can share it for us if he knows it.
The text is, it should be Rabbi. Oh, she's on. Okay, somebody just came on, so I guess that's Mrs. Dominitz. Mrs. Dominitz, is that you? Or Dan, is that you? You see? Well, from Lauren to everyone, challenges what teaching think of. It's true. Okay. I want to tell a personal story. But I'm here in Florida. I came on things to do with Ascent. Lisa's sharing a file. Okay. 1 second. Please ask the host to give permission to record. Who's the host? I think. 1 second.
Rabbi Leiter.
Oh, Mrs. Dominitz. Yes.
Sima Devora saved the day she's recording. She opened up this session and she's recording.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. Please ask the host.
Yep.
Okay, so close. Now, how do we just show the text?
I'm trying to do that, but it might not happen.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so I hope this text coincides with the text. I want to get started because I'm.
Is this direct from the Tanakh? I mean, can we just look ourselves in a book?
No, hi, Lauren. It's from a book called Keter Shem Tov. Keter Shem Tov. Okay, it's the collection of teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, and it has his inspiration in every line. And we're going to, and this is actually a different edition than we usually teach from. But come on, let's get started. I tell you the message. I think the message should be clear in spite of the fact that we don't all have the text. Anyone who has a Keter Shem Tov, it's called Keter Shem Tov Hasholem, okay, and we're on the 96th teaching, number 2, number base. Okay, and it starts.
If anybody wants me to email it to them, I can do that now. If they put their email address in the chat, I should be able to do that. If I
Okay.
can't do anything else. So I'll keep my eye on the chat.
Well,
and do
why
the
don't
best
you
I
email it
can.
to me, because then I can use the text that we
You do-
usually use.
You do have it, and I'll email it again.
Okay, thank you very much. Because I'm using the book that I'm using here is a different text. Second, Reba Rivka. Come on, till I get the email, until we can let's just go. So it says, so again, just one second. Okay, and I'm opening up the Chumash. Anybody who has a Chumash, the 5 books of Moses, the very beginning, we're dealing with the verse at the very, and you should actually look at it, the very, very beginning of Parshas Vayetze, okay? And how does the Parsha begin? Okay, it says, Vayetze Yaakov mi Be'er Sheva, Vayelech Harana. Jacob left Beersheba. Beersheba was the place where Abraham lived for most of his life, and he went Vayelech Harana. Okay, and on his way out of Eretz Yisrael, it says Vayifka b'makom. He met a place. Very interesting, the word Vayifka, because it says the Torah teachings, the oral tradition explains that we learned from Abraham. But just one second. You know that Arabs pray 5 times a day. Muslims, they pray 5 times a day, okay, and I can understand the idea of praying 5 times a day, right? You know, every part of the day you're involved in prayer. It's higher than nature, right? 5 doesn't fit into the daily program, okay? It's not a natural fit, and they want it to be a not natural fit. They should focus on Allah, on their God, okay? And they want to, and so they make it every few hours. They have to be praying, and if possible, in a mosque. Okay, the Jewish people, okay, our job is to elevate the world, and so the way that they made the prayers is also in a way that it lends itself to elevating the world. The prayers are connected to the morning, afternoon, and evening. We have 3 prayers a day, okay? And the morning, we can make it very early in the morning, and that's traditionally the time. The evening prayers is at night, okay? And the classic, the prayer that a person has to literally, he fights, right, with the world, push God into the world. That's the afternoon prayer. And in fact, that's why it's very short. It's much shorter than the morning prayer or the evening prayer, because the Torah understands that our job is to elevate the world, okay, and it's to use physical things, not to be involved in prayer all day. The prayer is to remind us our job is to transform the world, to elevate the world. Okay, so but the Torah goes on. It says that Abraham actually initiated the morning prayers. Okay, it says Vayash came up in Gavoka. He got up early in the morning. That's a hint that he initiated the morning prayers. Isaac initiated the afternoon prayers. It says by Yitzchak, we had it in the end of Parshat Chayei Sarah. It says, one second, I can tell you the verse. Excuse me, one second. Second, second, this is Parshas. No, the end of Parshas told us. I'm sorry. Anyway, I want to know. I take the time now. It says that it also uses a word for prayer, and it says that Yitzchak. Oh, there's the text. Okay, thank you very much. Yitzchak. Yitzchak was the one who set the afternoon prayer, and Yaakov, okay, it says that he actually passed Har Moriah and had to come back, right? And he had to come back, okay, and when he got there, it was already dark, and since it was already dark, by default, he was the one who founded the evening prayer, and that's why the evening prayer actually has a different urgency than the morning and afternoon prayers. There was a certain time when the evening prayer was optional. For women till today, the evening prayer is optional based on this idea that Yaakov only happened to have in the evening prayers, okay? And it's also connected to the offerings, that there was no offering at night. They only burned the remnants of the other offerings that was in the temple, okay? So that's the idea of Yaakov coming to Har Moriah. So I just want to finish the verse. So it says, "Vayifka b'makom," he happened to come to the place. Vayolan shom, and he slept there. Kivo shemesh, because the sun had already set. Vayikach me'avnei hamakom, and he took from the rocks of the place, v'yasem mirashosov, and he put them around his head. Everybody, if you have a chumash, if you have 5 books of Moses, please look it up. The yash came b'makom hahu, v'yishkap b'makom hu, and he rested in that place. And then it says like this. It says v'yachalom v'hine, and he dreamed, right? Hine sulam mutzav arza v'roshu magia shemaima. He dreamed that a ladder is mutzav arza, is sitting on the earth, v'rosho, and its head magia shemaima. Okay, and the verse ends, V'hine malachia ha-elokim, the angels of God were olim v'yordim boy. And the angels of God were going up and coming down on the ladder. That's the verse, okay? And this was when God came to him and promised him the land of Israel. It was going to be an eternal inheritance for the Jewish people, and he shouldn't worry about leaving the land. He wouldn't lose his merits, and in fact, God blessed him that he would bring 12 tribes into the world, and that's the continuation of the verse. Let's go inside. Okay. Now, I wonder if I can make it bigger. No. Let's see. Okay. So here we are. And this is what it says. Everybody look inside the text, please. It says, "Vayikach me'avnei hamokim," that Yaakov took from the rocks of the place. Again, so we said that physically he took from the rocks of the place, right? And he put them around his head. He wanted to protect himself. You could ask why he didn't put them around his entire body, why only put them around his head, because he wanted to, because he's telling us that the head is the most important place. That the head is the place that we use all of our human faculties. It's the place that we connect to God. He put them around his head. Okay, so what does the Baal Shem Tov say? Baal Shem Tov says, it says Rotze Lomar. It means to say that 1 second. I can't use that. This. It says Rotze Lomar sheyesh avnei shayish tohor. It says, we spoke about it actually last week, where it speaks about in Gemara Chagiga, in the second parak of Gemara Chagiga, and if you can find it in English, it's very, very beautiful. It speaks about the Baal Shem Tov, the 4 great scholars that actually had transmigration of their souls. Their souls went into heaven, went into the heavenly spheres, into what's called the Hechalot, the chambers of divinity that are a intermediary between the highest heavens in this world. And what did they see there? Right? I think we spoke about it last week, that each chamber had a gateway, and the gateway had a Malach HaMamuna, a angel that controlled the gate. And the way to get into each chamber, you had to sing a certain song and use a certain password. Okay, and they went into one of the chambers and they saw an ocean of marble, of stone that looked like water. Okay, stone. Okay, so they see. So okay. So what does that mean? The words in Hebrew are, again, avnei shayish tahor. It's stones of marble. Okay, I hope everybody can hear me. They just started vacuuming. I'm in a synagogue. They just started vacuuming. Can everybody hear me? I hope so. Okay, avnei shayish tahor. Okay, what is avnei shayish tahor? What does that mean? 1 second. I'm back. He agreed to put off the vacuuming till we finish. Thank God. Okay. So what does it say? It says he took me Avnei Amokim. What is Avnei Amokim? Avnei Avanim. Okay. It says in Sefer Yetzirah. It says that Adam learned with an angel, right? We even know the name of the angel, but it's not appropriate to say it. And that angel told him the secrets of how God created the world from nothing to something. He put it into a book called Sefer Yetzirah. It went from, I've given this over before, Adam communicated it to his main protege, was Methuselah. Methuselah communicated it to Noah. Noah communicated it to his eldest son. His name was Shem, okay? And Shem communicated it to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in a yeshiva in Tzfat, the holy city of Tzfat. We even know the place where the yeshiva was, where Shem and his great-grandson Aver had a yeshiva, had a learning center, okay? And from there, it went through generation to generation, through the Levites, all the way through until the destruction of the Second Temple, when Rabbi Akiva, the great Talmudic scholar, Rabbi Akiva, who, by the way, Rabbi Akiva's parents were not observant, right? And he only started to study when he was 40. That's a lesson for each of us, that there's nothing can stand in our way if we want to study. Okay, he started to study at 40, and he was the one who transcribed the secrets of Sefer Yetzirah into a book, and the secrets of Adam, the first man, into a book, and that book is called Sefer Yetzirah. You can buy it in English. Aryeh Kaplan translated. Just do a Amazon for Sefer Yetzirah, okay, the Book of Formation, and you'll find it. Okay, so it says there that rocks are letters. Okay, and so when it's okay, and so the Baal Shem Tov is saying here, when it says "V'lokach mi avnei amokim," when he took from the rocks of the place, he's talking about the letters, the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet that all of the world, every aspect of the world, right? I'm in a synagogue. You can see behind me these glass pieces of art. Okay, from the lowest of the low, from inanimate to the highest of the high, to the most beautiful, altruistic, the highest level of human being, of when a person puts themselves aside for the sake of divinity, from the lowest to the highest, each is represented in the letters of the Aleph Beit. And had we the eyes to see, we could look at a physical thing and say, this is a derivation of this letter and this letter. And the first of all the letters that we studied before is the Aleph. The Aleph goes on Aluful Shel Olam, the master, the Aluf, the first of the universe, which is the Almighty. And then the Beis is 2 Alephs, and the Gimel is 3, and the Dalet is 4. And what does that mean? That each level is a descent, is a level of hiding of the source, okay? And it goes all the way from Aleph to Taf. And so when it says, it says, she took me Avnei, so what is Avnei Amakim, the stones of the place? It's a reference to Avnei Shayesh Tohar, from the highest levels of the pure marble stones, meaning Alufos Sha'olim, the Almighty, who's Sod Aleph. That's the secret of the first letter of the Aleph base, Aleph. Shabo Hashem Yisborach Mikram Mokim. Now that on that level, so when we talk about God, one of the ways that the Torah refers to God is the word makom. Makom means place. Okay. Now, so if, for instance, we've spoken about it before. The 4 letters of God's name is a way of describing God's revelation in the physical world. The Yud is the divine light that was contracted into a tiny Yud. The letter Yud is the smallest letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The letter Hey, okay, and I said I would send everybody charts for the Aleph base. If you want, please remind us. A Hey has a horizontal line, a vertical line, and a third Yud point in the center, width, height, and depth. The Vav is a Yud, the small letter again with a long leg, drawing down, right? And the final Hey is again width, height, and depth. So it's the contraction, expansion on a spiritual level. The Vav is drawing it down into the physical plane, and the final expansion into physical reality. That's the 4 letters of God's name. Now, so when we say God's name, right, of 4 letters, we're actually supposed to meditate about how God is revealed in every part of the world. There's another teaching. That's the word makom. Now, I should have a blackboard. I didn't think I'm going to share this with you. For those people who have Hebrew skills, okay, you can understand. The people without Hebrew skills, I will write it up tonight. Keter Shem we'll put it on the group. Okay, the word makom in Hebrew has 4 letters. The first letter is mem. The second letter is kuf. The third letter is vav, and the fourth letter is mem. Makom. Okay, and it means place, and it's a reference to God on the highest level. The physical world is for those of us who tap into it, is God on the highest level. Where do we see the hint to God in the word makom? Where's the connection between God, between place, physical reality, and God's name, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey? So you might think, right? When I look at Hillel's beautiful picture on the Zoom here, I can see his smiling face. Okay, so even we call him Hillel, okay, or all of the other friends that are with us, but the word Hillel has itself in Hebrew, in English, let's say 4 letters, H and I and L, 2 L's and an E and an L, Hillel, okay, but really the name Hillel refers to not just those 6 letters. It refers to the depth of this person, Hillel, who's one of the participants in our class every week. Okay, the same way with God's name. God's name is 4 letters, but it refers to all the aspects of God that God shares with us. Okay, just like my name is Shaul, here I am, I'm speaking, I'm trying to share the words of the Keter Shem Tov with everyone. Okay, my name, it's not just the 4 letters of my name. It's not just that external 4 letters. It's the whole depth of me that I want to share with you. Okay, so when we want to take God's name of 4 letters and express how God, and show how God expresses himself, herself, it into the world, how would we do it? Maybe it would be the numerical value of God's name. The first letter is a Yud, is 10, and the second letter is a Hey, it's 5, and the third letter is a Vav, 6, and the fifth letter is a Hey. So that's altogether is 26, maybe 26 times 26. Now, that would show the multiplicity of reality. So no, not at all. Listen to this. The numerical value of the word makom in Hebrew is 186. Mem is 40. Kuf is 100. Vav is 6. And Mem is 40. Altogether 186. Now, if we take the 4 letters of God's name and we do Yud, which is 10, 10 times 10 is what? 10 times 10 is 100. Then we do Hey is 5. Am I saying this right? 1 second. Maybe I made a mistake. No, I made a mistake. Mem, again, Mem is 40. Kuf for the word makom is 100, is 140. Right? Vav is 6. No, it's 186. 186. Now, if we take Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, so Yud is 10. So 10 times 10, multiply each letter individually, is 100. Then 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. And 5 times 5 is 25. If you add that together, what do you get? I hope I didn't confuse everybody. If you add it all together, you get 186. In other words, the same numerical value for the word makom is the same numerical value of the 4 letters of God's name when each letter is multiplied by itself. And that's teaching us about the multiplicity of the world, the individual details of the world. That's part and parcel. It's connected. That is divinity. Okay, and that's what he says inside. Let's look back inside. Okay, again, it says, and Jacob took from the rocks of the place. Avnei, the rocks, those are the letters, the 24 letters of Hamakom, of the highest level, of the level of divinity that's being revealed in this physical plane. Rotzalama, we mean to say, Sheyesh Avnei Shayesh Torah, there's the highest level of God. the marble stone, the sea of marble stone that the four scholars saw when they traveled into the Echolot, the heavenly chambers. Okay, the Shehu Soda Aleph, and that was the secret of the letter Aleph that is multiplied throughout the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet into every aspect of the physical world. Shebo Hashem Yisborach Nikra Mokim, that those from the highest level of the Aleph, and how Bays and then Gimel and another level of hiddenness and another level of hiddenness until you get to the place called Mokom, place, which to us, we might think it's the farthest place in the world from God, right? We might be faced with challenges and situations that are the opposite of divinity. And yet the Pasuk is telling us that the highest levels of spiritual reality are revealed in the lowest places, okay? In the places of the most coarse physical, in the places that we call place, physicality, materiality, okay? That's what he says. Sehu nikra mokim, okay? Then the verse continues. It says, V'yasem miroshosa, and he put it, V'yasem, he took the rocks and he put it May Rosh Hasav. Now, Rosh Hasav, the word Rosh Hasav means around his head, but it's very interesting. If you can look at the Hebrew, even if you don't read Hebrew, I want you to can see. I'm sorry, where are we in the text here? The Yasim Rosh Hasav. It's the second line. It's 4 words to the end of the line. The word Rosh Hasav. Rosh Hasav can actually be split into 2 words. The word Rosh and the word Taf. Tav is the last letter of the alphabet, and Rosh is the head, is the highest level. And he says, V'lakav mi Rosh ataf, and he took from the highest letter, from the Rosh, from the Aleph, from Alufal Shel Olam, from the place where God is completely revealed all the time, nothing hidden at all, and he brought it to the Taf, to the lowest level, to the physical plane, to lower, that there's no lower than it. Right? That was his job of going on his mission in the world. Like I said, is the mission of each of us is to take, no matter where you are. I don't want to tell you about me. I want each of you to think yourselves about where you were someplace yesterday, the day before, where you will be today or tomorrow, where you can take a mundane event and transform it in the right way, not in the wrong way. I don't need anybody to make a scene. It's not my purpose. It's not your purpose. But when a person takes, I went to an event yesterday. I'm in a Jewish community here. A baby was born, and they were making what's called a Shalom Zachar. Shalom Zachar is an event where you make a party for the baby. Bris is on the 8th day. There's always a Shabbat between the birth and the bris, and they made a party. And the party is the most high spiritual thing. And people were just there. They were drinking. And I'll tell you the truth. I had just learned what we're teaching now, and I said, everybody stopped. There were 50 people there. I made the father of the child and the grandfather and the father-in-law. They all sat at the table, at a table there, and we said Torah together. Okay, and because the idea of Shalom Zachar is that every child has to experience a Shabbat before he's circumcised. Every boy. And it's only, and so he doesn't feel the complete Shabbat because he's not circumcised. And so the idea of a Shalom Zachar is to elevate the spirits of the baby. And so it's no big deal if I did it. Okay, I'm saying that each of you can do it. To take a situation where people are just losing it, not losing it in a negative sense, that people are just so involved in material reality, and you can take me Rosh Tav, from the head to the Taf. You take the divine purpose for the being. We belong in the world. We came into the world to transform the world from a material place to a spiritual place. You can do it. Each of you can do it, are able to do it without any doubt in my mind, right? Just like saying, I can control the environment doesn't have to control me. What word could I say? What action could I do to transform this material event, the Taf, the last level of the alpha and I can infuse it with the Rosh, with the head. That's what he says here. Me Rosh Tav, right? What does that mean? We're continuing in the text, the end of the second line. Lidabek, to attach, Rosho, that person's the first letter, the highest level of spiritual reality, and which also relates to my thinking, my head, umachshavto, and my thoughts, to the inner dimension of the letters, ulahalotam, and to elevate them from something material where God is hidden to something where God is revealed. Okay, and that's what it means. Gam meiroshotav, right, from the head to the tough, right? To draw down the or meirosh elataf, from the highest level to the lowest level. Okay, and everything that we've studied in the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov for the last however many months, year that we've been doing it already, each one was about that. Each one was about seeing through the facade and revealing the divinity there. You know, it could be by acting in a modest way, in an immodest situation. It could be by pointing out to people how we can reveal divinity even in this situation. It could be by teaching a word of Torah or sharing something you studied. You know, I've told each of you many times, I said it, you shouldn't leave the house until you have something to share with other people, okay? Something to elevate them, something, you know, to change it. I don't know if everybody sees the idea that we send out on the eve of Shabbat, but this week it says, they asked the question about last week's Torah portion, why did Jacob grab the heel of Esav? Esav was coming out of the womb. What a more futile gesture could there be than the twin holding onto the heel of the brother who was born first? What is he trying to do? He's trying to stop him from coming out. It's ridiculous. He can't stop him from coming out. No, that's the point. The point is that the Torah is telling us that when we do our part, God will take care of the rest, right? But when we make the maximum effort, God will help to follow through. Okay, and that's true. All of this. That's how we go miroshotav, from the head. 1 second. From the head to the tough, from the front to the bottom. Back inside, lahalota, to elevate it. El aleph, to elevate it to the aleph. Again, I hope it's clear. If anybody has a question, ask me. That's what you're supposed to come out with from here, right? That he took Avnei HaMakom, that the highest place is revealed in the lowest place. Okay, the Roshotav means from his head to the tough, to take the highest level of divinity and reveal it in the lower worlds. And that's when we do that, we elevate everything else. And when we elevate the world, we elevate ourselves. Why? Because that was the purpose that God sent us here. God sent us into the world to transform it. So when we take a material, physical situations, you know what? It could be an argument between siblings, between friends, right? It could be some, you know, the hardest things. When we take a deep breath and step back and say, what does God really want from me in this situation? Maybe I have to give up a little territory. Maybe I have to be an example of divine spiritual truth in the world. Whatever it is, that everything is in that breath that you take, the pause before you just jump into action that's automatic and thoughtless. And that's what he's saying here. Again, look inside. He says, lahalot el ha'alef, to elevate the whole physical world to the aleph, to the oneness of God, right? Shehu rosh shalataf, that's the head of the tough. That's the purpose of the tough. The Lord said is to raise it back to the aleph, to, like we said before, ulit karev min tough ad aleph. It's not only to bring the energy. Again, it's two things that are one. Okay, when I interject something divine, when I think what my purpose is in this negative situation and I inject it into that situation, I'm not only bringing divinity from above into the world, I'm actually transforming that situation to something holy. I'm elevating that situation to the highest. Both things are happening at once. I draw down the divine energy and I elevate the world, and at the same time myself, when I fulfill my purpose. Okay, and that's how it ends. Who mezake, he's merit lahalotan the zocha iman. He is that in the text, on our text? The dabik? Yes, it says it there. He says the words actually very important. When a person takes that deep breath and does what he knows he should do, rather than acting, going on automatic, who mezakeh, he merits, from the word zechut, he merits lahalotan, to elevate the world, the zocha imahen. And the individual also, by fulfilling his or her purpose, it also is elevated. Okay, each of us comes to that higher level when we take the physical world and we transform it. Okay, it says a person who goes down to the level of a manuvel, of a disreputable person, he becomes disreputable. But a person who elevates that situation on high, he not only elevates that person with the problems, he elevates himself also and fulfills his purpose in the world. Okay, that's Tzadik Vav Beis. Okay, I want to move. Thank you very much. Any questions? Here we are again. Okay, I love it when everybody doesn't ask any questions. Okay, but I want to say, just one second. So look at the notes you have here. Oh, we didn't finish. I'm sorry. Okay, wait. In this. Here it is. I have a different edition. I'm sorry. It goes on more. It says Vayachalom. Now I know why nobody had any questions. We didn't finish. It says Vayachalom, and he dreamed. That's we read in the text. V'hinei sulam, and he sees an angel. He sees us a ladder. One second. In the text here, it says that what does it mean that he dreamed? It says he dreamed that he realized that all of the physical world was just a dream. It's just a staging platform for each of us to realize our potential. Okay, every act of the day, whether between ourselves, between ourselves and other people, or between ourselves and the Almighty, each is a opportunity, okay, to fulfill our purpose. And in that sense, the world is just a dream, because it's really all a staging platform for me to fulfill my purpose. Okay, it says, what's the sulam? The sulam is oilam. It says, okay, this world is just a ladder. It's just a ladder. What is that? Everybody take a minute. What does that mean that this world is a ladder? It says in the verse there that we read. Again, everyone should look at the first verse of Parshat Vayetze. It's this week's Torah portion. And it says, Vayachalom, Vayerach Sulam, and he sees V'hinei Sulam, and there's a thing that and the words are, so I won't say it exactly. V'yachalom v'hinei sulam, and he saw a ladder, mutzav arza, fixed mutzav, sitting on set on the ground, v'rosho magia shemaima, and its head reaches into the heavens. So the Baal Shem Tov is saying everybody has to realize that this whole world is just a ladder. It's just a ladder. All of the challenges are, all we want to do is get to the inner chamber of the king. And to get to the inner chamber of the king puts up so many obstacles to see if you really are sincere, if you really want to be with the king or not. And that they're all just sleights of hand. They're just illusions. Okay, and that's what he says. All of this world is just an illusion, a chalom, a dream. It's just really, you have to look at each event. I'm talking to myself even more than you. Every event, when I act in a moral, in a appropriate Jewish way, when I use my greatest potential, that is a step up, okay? As opposed to being suckered into the world, that's a step down on the ladder. That's what he says. It says, "Eino ela kamosulam." The whole world is just like a ladder. It's perhaps the most powerful paradigm in all of Judaism. Every event in our life is just a chance to go up or down on the ladder. Kamosulam mutzav arza. It's like a ladder that's resting on the earth, right? Al Yadei said that through this ladder, Yale Roishoy, he elevates himself, the Yagia Hashamayma, and he gets and he can rise up to heaven. Our challenge is ach v'rak, is only for the purpose of giving us an opportunity to transform our status from something material and physical to something spiritual. There was famous story of the Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak the Rayatz, the sixth Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he once heard, in Chassidic communities, it's less today, but there was a time when there was an inner group, an inner sanctum. They were called the Jungelite, the young, the inner group, the Chassidim. Okay, and then there was a second level called Balabatim. Balabatim were householders. There were people that had to work. The inner group were people that spent more of their time involved, even if they had to work, but they were really focused on spiritual things. And the Balabatim, they were coarser. They had to make money. They were involved in the world much more. They were less involved in spiritual things. So once a group of Chassidim, of Jungelite, were making jokes about Balabatim. Okay, that they said the Balabos is like an animal. He's a physical world. He works, he eats. Okay, even though he might keep Torah and mitzvahs, he's not involved in spiritual things. How privileged we are to be involved in spiritual things. And the Rebbe heard them. He said, "You're making a mistake. A Balabos is higher than God." And the Hasidim freaked out. What do you mean a Balabos? A water carrier, a shepherd, a storekeeper, whatever, a blacksmith, whatever, or a balabos, a householder is higher than God? How can it be? The Rebbe said, how? Because God took this spiritual reality and he turned it into a physical reality, physical plane. Whereas a balabos takes the physical reality and he transforms it into a spiritual reality. Okay, and the Rebbe was telling us that that's possible for all of us. First is to Rosh Hashanah, to reveal the divinity in each thing, the letters of the Hebrew alphabet in each thing, the divinity in each thing. That's number one. And Sulam, to see it as a ladder that we can elevate the whole world and at the same time ourselves to a higher level of spirituality. Okay? That's the first piece. Okay, now one person must have a question. Lauren, not one question. I want to tell you, all my friends, I didn't have so much time to prepare. Where's the text? Everybody can see the text who wants to? I don't see the text. If you can, I hope they can see the text. Okay, I didn't have so much time to prepare. I'm here on a certain mission and I was running around. And so I wasn't as clear as I usually am. I don't think. Okay, I apologize.
I thought it was great.
Okay, but let's anybody have a question? There's the text again.
Question.
No, who's speaking?
Valerio.
The King of Italy. Yes.
Hey, too good. Well, I would like to go back to the beginning when you stressed out that it was so important for Yaakov to go out of Israel, and
Right.
Yaakov is Israel. So you were meaning, I think, the originary land of Israel, but he had to go out.
Right.
Why? I would like to ask you to be more precise about this point.
Absolutely. Okay, because it says, right, it says, the song, it says, Neshama yoredes betoch haguf, utzoekes ayayay, utzoekes ayayay, yerida zu tzricha aliyah, ad shekol zehu kedai. What do the words mean? Why does the soul is in heaven, Valerio? What does it need to come into the body for? For what? It's standing there in heaven in the light of the Shekhinah. It's experiencing this beautiful rays of the Torah. It's learning Torah on the highest level. It's with God. What does it need to come into the world for? Why does Yerita Neshama B'toch Haguf? Why does it have to come into the? Because the purpose of going down is for the sake of going up. God put us into the world because we have to take Italy, right? We have to take the grubbest parts of Italy and to reveal in it the holiness. When you go around with your kippah, when you keep Shabbat, when your children, yours and Sylvie's children, are acting in a moral and upright and standard way, they're taking the physical world and transforming it into something spiritual. That is what it means to go out from the Holy Land, from the place where God is revealed, that's like the heaven, into the physical world. Okay, that does that make sense? And that's what it says. Every going down, the soul coming down is for the sake of the elevation, right? When you do something, when you say to a person, why argue? Let's just do it. Let's decide what's the right thing to do and we'll do it. When you do that, that person who you took your deep breath, you saw the aleph in this tough, the first letter and the last letter, and you transformed it. That person will go, and how many other countless people will he transform their lives? Good goes on forever. Evil grinds to a halt. But good continues to transform. It's infinite. Okay? And then when we do that, bit by bit, we're taking each rock and we're transforming it into something holy. Did I answer your question?
Yep.
Okay, beseder. All right, thank you very much. At least I had a question. Okay, we're gonna do. It's okay. It's 3 o'clock. Give me another question, please, and we're gonna save the next piece for next week when I'm gonna be back in the Holy Land myself. Okay, and Baruch Hashem, and I'm gonna give each and every person here a bracha that you should fulfill your going out from Beersheba to Harana, from the Holy Land, from Israel, to Haran, to the place where God is hidden, and to find what your mission is there. And I'm asking everybody to give me a bracha. You're my chevra, right? You're the unbelievable computer, right? Everywhere I go, you're with me, all of you, Baruch Hashem. So I want a bracha from everybody. I'm giving each of you my bracha, okay? Because I'm here in Florida, but I'm making here Eretz Yisrael. When we do this class together, we made from Florida Eretz Yisrael. We made from the mundane into something holy. Each of you can also take your place. You're taking Eretz Yisrael, right? And you're making your mundane places holy. So I'm giving each of you a bracha, a blessing that you should continue, you should succeed and continue to succeed. By the way, I'm just saying. Last week was the brachot of Yitzchak to Yaakov. In other words, Esav was the firstborn. Yaakov took he tricked his father straight, okay, and he received the blessings instead of Esav, his who was born first, okay. And there's many explanations about what is this idea of deceit in the Torah, okay. And one of the answers is that really it was all a plan of of Isaac. Jacob's father, this was his plan, because he knew there would be a generation now, this generation, where everybody will have Esav's clothes on the outside, but they'll have Jacob's soul on the inside, where they'll be confused. They'll be connected to the physical world. They won't know what to do. And that's the generation that Isaac, Yitzchak, was giving the blessings to. That's why it had to be in a way that he looked like Esav on the outside, and really he was Yaakov on the inside. That's the situation that each of us are dealing with. We come into a difficult situation, and it's such a pain in the neck. What are we supposed to do here? That's the materiality, and we realize that we can transform it to something spiritual. Okay, that's the Yaakov inside Esav's clothing. Okay, now, so I'm giving each of you a bracha. Each person, Valerio and Hillel and Sylvia, Daniel, Ari, Sergio, Lizetta, Lauren, Levi, Dara, Tata Herman, Richard, Mr. Heyman, Vincent, and whoever else is, whoever is here, you should fulfill and continue to fulfill your blessings. Like it says in the first blessing, it says, Vayitein lecha Elokim. The first blessing that Isaac gave to Yaakov, if you just look it up, it says, and God should give you. What's this and? What does it say and for? And it says, and Isaac blessed Jacob. And what's the and? So Rashi says the and means that God will give and chosev noten, and continue to give. What does that mean? God will give. Well, it's nice, but why does God have to continue to give? If God is God, let it give it all at once. Why give and continue to give? Please, everybody, if I could hug you all, I would hug you. Listen to this. What does it mean? He says God gave, God gives, and he continues to give. That means he gives us the ability to take what he gave us and to make it better. God gave us the gift, to use the gift and to transform it into something higher using my abilities. That's what it means, vayitain. And God gave. He gave and continues to give. That each of us can take what God gave us and to make it into something even more powerful. That's why he gave it to us. That's the skills of each of us here. There's nobody, I know each of you, there's no one without those skills. Close your eyes. Think of when you wake up in the morning, think of one thing, two things, three things to be grateful for. Blessings that God gave you, and how can I take them and improve them to do even more with them? That's the idea of this week's Torah portion, and that's what we learned about today, to reveal the Aleph, even in the Tov, the first letter of the alphabet, even in the lowest letter, and that the whole world is just what? When I say, what is the whole world? The Breslov Chassidim say the whole world is a narrow bridge. Kol ha'olam kulo, it's a narrow bridge. And the main thing is not to be afraid. That's what Breslov Chassidim say. But Chabad Chassidim, or students of the Baal Shem Tov, what do they say? The whole world is just what? A ladder. A ladder to climb higher and higher and higher and higher.
Amen.
Okay, Shabbat Shavua Tov, everybody. Should be a good. This be just the first day of the month. The month was Friday. This is the third day of the month. It should be a wonderful month for each of us to fulfill our potential, to use the gifts that God gave us, to find things to be grateful for, and to transform them into something better. The gifts, and to vayitain l'chalakim, to give and to continue to give by what we invest in it. Okay. My love to everybody. Thank you so much for being with me today. I was really fought all the people around me. I said, I don't want to teach. I don't want to do it. But it was so beautiful for me. I hope somebody benefited also. And we'll see, please God, everybody next week. God bless each and every one of you. Okay.
Rabbi
bless
Leiter,
you.
Amen. Shkoyach.
Thank you. Baruch to you.
Rabbi Leiter, you want
Thank
to
you,
put your messages
Shaul.
in the
Goodbye.
chat?
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Dara. Thank you, everybody.
Bye,
Thank you
Shaul.
so much.
Bye.
Thank you so
Thank
Rabbi
much.
Leiter, you've got a message in the chat that's important, I think,
Okay, I'll take a look at it. I really have to go.
about your location.
Where is Florida? Lake Worth. Oh, hi. I'm in Miami, but I'll be in touch. Thank you. What best way to deal with
Thank you.
jealous people? Keep doing it right, or just to remove self from the situation? It's a very good question. It's not just jealous people. What do you do with anybody who has negative character traits? Sometimes, not sometimes, it's so hard for other people to change. You can love them and love them more and accept them the way they are and say to them, you're struggling, and I recognize you're struggling. Okay, you can give them as much strength as you can, but you're right. In the end, you do what you can. Well, we just said it. Why did Jacob hold on to the heel of Esau? Because we have to do the best that we can, and God will do what God can. When a person talks to the other person in a respectful way, understands that they're fighting their demons. They have demons and they're fighting them. Okay, when we show them, you understand that, and if you, however I can help you, I can help you. Sometimes that's the most that you can do. That's all there is, and that But if you keep on doing it, that person will realize and will start climbing the ladder themselves. Okay, let me just see if there's anything else. Thank you very much for that question. 1 second. Anything else here? I don't know how to. 1 second. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, Beseder. But anything that I didn't answer, we will answer later. Again, my blessings to everybody. Mamash, take the strength that God gave us and run with it. Okay, Shavua Tov, a good week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Amen. Bye-bye.
And
Take care.
Siyah Tova.
Thank you. Bye-bye.